to the computer. Okay, today's date is September 28th, 2025. I'm over here with September 20th, 2025. It's a Sunday. It's about 5:30. I'm here with Bill Greathouse. How you doing, Bill?
Pretty good.
Okay.
Pretty good. It's been a while since we sat next to each other in a recording, so why not,
Yeah,
huh?
it is. We actually talked for the first time face to face yesterday, and we were doing some
Yes.
we were sending a little voice memos back and forth, but now we are officially making a video, and we decided to talk about New World Order and how it relates to Charlie Kirk. We can get into Charlie Kirk right away. So what's your whole scoop on? I'm going to let you do the talking about what is your scoop about what happened with Charlie Kirk?
Well, I guess I could go back and say PSYOP Central. You're
Okay.
not being told the truth, okay? And I find it funny because it's Nicolas Cage. I got the name down now.
Right.
Nicolas Cage, I think it was 98 or 97, I think 98. A movie called Snake Eyes came out. And in that movie, they had a character with a very similar name to Charlie Kirk, except for it was Kirkwood and it was Charles. Okay. And this person, literally, well, very similar story, right?
Okay, wait. His name was Charlie Kirk as well.
Charles Kirkwood.
Charles Kirk Wood, and now tell us what happens with this character in the movie.
He's in a public setting. They don't really specify where. And he's speaking. He's a politician and he's assassinated. Okay.
Oh my
So when
God.
you look at this and you look at the Charlie Kirk situation, and I would have to say, Jexter, my own opinion, he's still alive.
Okay, this is a good question because we talked about that too. In the movie with Charles Kirk Wood with Nicolas Cage, was that character also still alive?
No,
He died.
he died.
Okay, so this Charlie Kirk, how would they kill him? And I believe that that could have been CGI that they used with the bloodshot. There was no blasted face coming off. It was just a dot. That's all you see is the dot.
Oh, you see the dot, and that's it. In a 30-06, if they shot him in the neck, it would have blown half of his neck out. I mean,
Right.
it would have been so obvious, okay? But
Okay.
see, you're right. I mean, when you said CGI, I mean,
Yes. Like
the
9/11. That
technology
the
we
plane.
have,
Right.
it's so easy to fake something like this, and if people don't look in, and even if you do look into it, you're not going to find anything other than all the shit you're seeing. And you've seen how the story keeps flipping.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, from the day of the so-called shooting up forward, you keep getting different scenarios.
Right, because the FBI now is having to retrace their message and say, it's not what they say it is. It's really crazy. So this guy's a patsy, obviously. He's just somebody, some mentally ill guy. Could be like an MK Ultra thing too. You never know.
Well, yeah, that's it. Or he could just be an
A
elaborate
good actor.
actor.
He could just be an actor. Yeah.
Exactly. And he gets up there and does his little act,
Right.
and
So,
everybody's
okay,
blah blah blah.
so
So
I'm thinking that first of all, there is not 500 views of this. You'd think with in the days of the cell phone, there would be 500 videos of this floating around, and there's only like two or three versions of it. That's it. That's all we're getting, which can be CGI reconstructed.
well, that's exactly it. You're not getting a bunch of versions. And think about it in today's
Why
world.
is that? Why do you think that with all those people there, we're getting a fractional version of this? Like, how did there,
Well, let's look at reality. In today's world, Steve, everybody in God's green earth has a smartphone in their pocket
except for
that
you?
has the ability to film.
Right.
Okay.
But they're not
And
always
if he's a
filming.
politician and you're in campus speaking, I can see people holding their phones up.
Right.
So where's the other versions? Where's all these people posting, oh no, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
It's
I
not
see. So if there
there.
was another version, we would have seen it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, think about it. If you have all these people in this campus, it's a university,
Hmm.
and they're all watching him speak, you're gonna have people out there with their phone.
Right.
Okay. Now something happens. How are they gonna catch every single phone to how many people might have been recording? And
Well, they can
when
do
they
it
go
easily.
online, and and even if they went online and posted it,
That
maybe it got taken down immediately because of the
AI
content.
AI can AI could probably swipe it real quick before it even gets.
Yes, before it ever got there. What you just said, I would agree
Yeah,
with.
right,
But that's not the point. The point is
right,
it's just there's too many changes in the story. Think about the original story.
right.
You got some guy that's never been to this university in their life, that don't know even the layout of the campus, but yet he seems to know right where they're going to have it outside and right what building he can climb up on a roof.
Right. It seems too good to be true. I would be
Yeah,
deathly afraid to just walk into a building and walk around and do that. But I'm not saying that there aren't people that are brave enough to do that. But for crying out loud, it just seems such a contrived story. It doesn't make any sense.
yeah, it doesn't add up. And when I look at it, I see sites
Yeah.
Psyop Central.
Yeah.
I see what's going on in the world. I watch it,
They do believe.
and
I heard latest update on this stuff is that his wife is an arranged marriage. They know for a fact it was an arranged marriage. His wife is 5 years older than him, and she's close with the Trumps. She was in beauty contests, and her dad as well knows Trump. He was a builder or architect or is, and there's all this information coming out that there is a closer tie to this Trump than you can imagine. You got to just follow the money,
well, yeah, I'm sure there probably is.
right?
And and it's hilarious and it's funny because
Her
people,
phony tears. And I'm not saying we don't know how a person cries, but everything seems like it's an act all being played out.
well, let's look at the assassination attempt on Trump. And then you hear Trump rattle out, he blew off a piece of his ear.
Oh yeah, that a
But if
30.
you look at him in today's societies in office, did they spray him with some like instant heal and instant grow?
Yeah,
Because he's not missing no part of an ear.
no, no, not at all.
See, so it's
I
sort of
think that
like
was all
being fake.
CGI. I think that was CGI too.
Yeah,
That little tint, that little black, but they CGI'd that right in there. That's all that was.
yeah, exactly. And when it's not CGI and he's right there, everybody sees his ears are intact. Okay, so but yet there he is telling everybody, he blew off a piece of my ear,
Yeah,
but yet the piece of the ear is not missing.
right.
So, I mean, it's sort of in people's face. They just need to pay attention and understand they're not being told the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Propaganda was legalized a long time ago,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't have to report the truth. They can say whatever they want.
Well, yeah, everything's arbitrary. Even the FBI, they do next to nothing. When they're told to stand down, they have to stand down. You could be an FBI agent and see all your documents being raided by Mossad agents, and they're like, "Sir, they're in here. They're stand down, detective, stand down, stand down." Like they don't do anything. They're just useless. The FBI. They only protect the
Well, they're
establishment.
order followers. That's
They
what I
are.
like
They're
to
order
call them.
followers,
They're
right?
just great order followers, okay?
Yeah, that's
And
all
they're
they
not going
are.
against the order because, I mean, forbid me. I wouldn't want to lose any tool over it, would you? I mean, you know what I call the tool. You
Yeah.
have your own toolbox. You go to work every day and you earn the tool and you got it in your
Right, and
toolbox.
they would say to you, "Oh, you're 5 years from retirement. You're going to get your pension real quick. Just be a good boy and don't say anything." You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
most people, unfortunately, we've been sold out by so many people because they don't understand what's going on.
no,
And if they can make a good living, if they can blah, blah, blah.
no.
And then, of course, the divisions through the roof. If I can make more money than you make.
Well, hey, there was a girl. Speaking of Charlie Kirk, they showed him in his casket, at least the hands, and they were orange. And there's people already commenting they think it's wax figure. And what here, this lady, of course, it's some girl with 1 million subscribers. And I embalm for a living. I work for a funeral home, and that's the real deal. So they've already got their shills to protect the official story.
Oh my God, that's just completely crazy.
Yeah.
Real life scenario. Okay. She claims she worked for a funeral home.
Well, yeah,
Well, here's a claim that's absolutely factual.
yeah.
My dad's sister, Mary, we broke down outside of Omaha. She lived in Omaha. My mother, when we broke down, called Chuck, okay, which was her brother. And Chuck called Mary. Mary came down Interstate 80 and picked us up.
Mm-hmm.
Hadn't seen her like forever, but she knew who he was. She takes us back to her place. She goes downtown Omaha. She pulls up to a funeral home. She pushes the button on her visor, and the garage door on the funeral home opens up. She drives in. She lives upstairs. She works for the funeral home. Fanciest apartment I ever seen in my life, okay?
Wow.
She had a switch panel next to her bed. She pushed the button, turned on light, and any light in the fucking her floor she was on, she wanted. She said she would be downstairs. She had to work in the morning when we woke up, and she was. Calvin and I went down there. My cousin, he was with us. We went down there. We stood out back and had a cigarette, and we got the garage door open, coffins, and there's a funeral going on there. And Mary was the one who, the actual coroner would drain the blood and put the embalming fluid in, but she was the one that dressed the body, put on the makeup, put on the blemishes, and made him look good for presentable for the family. That's what she did.
Yeah.
Okay, so she actually really worked in the funeral home.
Right.
And then we walked out front, and then I had a mind blower because I'm at this funeral home, and next door's a Burger King. And I look across the street, and there's another funeral home, and a McDonald's next to it. And being sarcastic, we looked at each other and says, "You don't eat at either one of these burger places. We know where they get their meat from." Okay, but we wasn't serious, but you know how it is. It was a trip for us, the fact that we slept in a funeral home all night.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've never done
Right,
that
but
in my
what does
life.
this have to do with the woman working at the funeral home?
Because you got a woman working in a funeral home that says the hands are blah, blah. That's not true.
Yeah.
See, so that wouldn't be true.
Yeah, it wouldn't be orange. Nobody would accept that. Would it was just weird the way they divided. But anyways, yeah, I think so. Charlie Kirk would have had to been playing a role, right? He's playing a role that he's dead.
Yes.
Okay.
I think he was playing the role to begin with, politician speaking. And,
Yeah.
you know, he goes to universities to speak, and he's been propped into a position where he has lots of people listening to him. He talks about controversial subjects, which causes more division. You know, and part of NWO was the old motto,
This is the
survive and
perfect
conquer.
incentive now for and it's also an incentive for Trump to President Trump to push his anti free speech laws now too.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny because the people I've seen speaking against him, blah, 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 they didn't like some of the topics he talked about. But if you
Hmm.
talk transsexuals or you're
Right.
talking about the gay agenda, what have you, it doesn't matter, okay? The reality, all this stuff has been pushed political.
Hmm.
He gives his opinion.
Right.
And then people who are falling for the Kool-Aid, they're going to get mad and offended by it. But
Right.
that's what they want.
Hmm.
It's actually what the establishment wants. Because
Right.
if you and I disagree and we can't contain ourselves, then we get mad at each other.
Right.
Then we don't stand together.
Right.
Okay. And that's really where it comes from. People don't stand together because communication and people's ability to agree to disagree, people's ability to have critical thinking skills
Hmm.
has pretty much been wiped off the map,
Right.
except for a handful of people. And if you get too close to the truth, they're just going to shut you up.
Right. So you think you're of the opinion that Charlie Kirk thing, we all know it's all BS, the official story. Where do we go from here with it? Do they just ride out with this and then Charlie Kirk they're going into chapter 7. They're going to the next chapters basically is what they're
Right. They're going to the next chapter. I
right.
think my opinion is I would keep track of anything that links back to this actor. He's probably still alive, okay?
Mhm.
And what kind of laws are they going to pass? What kind of rights are you going to lose? What kind of this or that? What's all going to be the outcome?
Right.
Okay, that's what I would be looking for because, you know, they do things for a reason.
Right.
And most psyops, they have more than one goal that they're after
Right.
out of what they're doing.
Okay.
So you want to sort of give it time, keep eyes on what's going on.
Okay.
Okay. Don't lose the story of what they told you. Just remember the story and keep eyes on what's going on. and look for things that link back to that story. That's a new bill being pushed, a new law being pushed, a new rule being pushed. This is what you should be doing, because then you'll pick up on things that why they're doing what they're doing.
Okay.
You
So
know
this
that.
this story is this is like the next chapter. They needed to kill him off because whether he's dead or really dead or not dead, they have to go into the next chapter. This is like pretty
Right. He's not going to be back in front of the public, because in the
right.
public's eyes, they killed him off. It's no different than if you're an employee of establishment or whatever, okay? A good one would be like a plain truth,
Right.
okay? And he was on TV,
Right.
but you don't get on TV and be in his position
No, and
unless
he
you're
really
not already
wasn't that
working for the establishment.
he would regurgitate like really stupid talking points. But they're talking about this other guy, this Nick Fuentes, who I think is also part of the establishment. He's like a young
Right.
guy that's in his late 20s, and he's already changing the script in order. They think that he's also part of the establishment too.
Well, the thing is this, like a plain truth,
Hmm.
his real name, James, I'm trying to think of what it was now, but anyhow,
Yeah.
supposedly real name. But understand, when he was on TV, it introduced him as a plain truth and said what his real name was. But that wasn't his real name.
Right.
Take it to the bank. That was the name they told the public. So
Right.
when they announced that he had passed away,
Plain Truth was his name.
yeah, so that's the name he went on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay. When they announced he passed away, of course, you could look at the news report and they said his name was this. They said he lived in this county. You go to that county, and you go to every funeral home there is. You go to all the public records if he passed away in that county in California. This is where he claimed he lived. You can't find him. He didn't die. He didn't die. He didn't die. Well, if you don't have the real name, you're not going to find him.
Aha.
See, so it don't matter if he says this is my name. It doesn't matter if the TV set says this is
Well, you don't think he died then, right?
well, he could be dead and you wouldn't know it, because the fact is Steve, you and I are very transparent. Your name is what you said it was. You didn't lie to the world.
Yeah, yeah, right,
My name is what I said it was, right? But
right,
now let's say I'm working for the establishment, because if I was to go there, I would go, a plain truth got big at the same time Richie from Boston did. And
yeah,
how did they get big? Because once upon a time, all these professional Hollywood grade movies showed up on YouTube overnight called A Flat Earth.
right,
And these are the two guys that pushed that agenda.
right,
Okay. So you think about it. If you passed away and they had you, and no, you're in Ohio, they know maybe you're in this county or whatever, right? And it's not a lie, they're going to be able to find something about your death. But if you was using a screen name that wasn't your name, and maybe you was on TV and they gave you a stage name, okay, and this is all everybody knew you by, and you actually pass away, nobody's going to find your record. And if you don't pass away, maybe you killed the actor, maybe you killed the character, maybe you're done right now and you're not going to be in public eye no more, and
right.
you're
That's
still alive. Or maybe you did pass away, but nobody can find you because they never had your own name to begin with.
oh man, amazing.
Okay, that's sort of how that works. So
Yeah,
the most you can do is research it. When you run into a dead end, you say, okay, that's all you can do.
that's all you can do, right? So where do you go? Like, okay, so you got this Charlie Kirk changing. You would lean more toward he's not he was obviously nothing happened with the 30-06 we clearly see. So you think that
Right.
the odds were that somehow they were able to fake this whole incident with him and then just
I
fake it.
think the public had a stage name,
Yeah.
didn't have a real name.
Hmm.
He can change his appearance. He could move out of country, could move to
Right.
another state because everybody thinks he's dead anyhow.
Right.
He could dye his head, change his appearance, some around.
Yeah.
Everybody knows he's dead, right? Right. Okay.
Right.
So
Oh yeah,
he'd
yeah.
be right there in your face and you'd be talking to somebody. Man, if it wasn't for the color of your hair, or man, if it wasn't for this, you sure look a lot like that, but it's not. I mean, he's dead, so it's sad,
Yeah.
but you look a lot like him, and you sound like him,
Right. Right.
you know? That's how quick they can pull the wool over your eyes.
Right. We talked about 9/11. How we were talking about how the planes hitting the building, no one ever saw them. It was all CGI created. It was all
Oh, it
it's
was. I
complete
mean,
CGI. It was. They did it
this
all.
was, oh, I mean, right there in your face. As a matter of fact, the video itself of the trade centers and the planes going in, the planes were placed in the video, okay? And they put it to the side, and then when the day of the event, they sold it to the media. The media had it sitting there ready to go,
Yeah.
okay? And they just air it to the public, and the public said, oh, and everybody that was on the street that day that was
Like we
right
just
there,
heard the explosion. No one ever claims they saw
nobody
the
ever
plane.
saw it. That's correct,
Right. Well,
okay?
but the only witnesses were, well, we saw the second one on TV hit the building. On TV, yeah.
Yeah, on
Meaning,
TV.
yeah, on TV.
Exactly.
That's why it's so, and the public is so brain dead because they don't believe. And that Jason Goodman was the one you were telling me that said that they do that with digital video all the time. They can impregnate all
Yes.
that stuff in there.
He actually got his money off of inventing a camera for Hollywood, no
Yeah.
less, that allowed him to put things in video that wasn't even there.
Right. Like you could shoot a video play. They did that with a there was a they took the three most famous plays in sports history and on the Gatorade commercial they recreated it in the way that it showed them dropping the ball instead of catching the ball and it looked real like it was and then they showed the real one. So they were able to re-digitize it to show you what it would have looked like if he dropped the ball. That's really
But see,
amazing.
and this is also the problem we look at in today's society when you're all these people are going to YouTube and they're looking at their TV or they're looking at YouTube.
Yeah.
They have the technology now to
Right.
literally make videos from scratch that never happened
Right.
and post it up there and sell you a lie.
Yeah.
Okay. And you know they're doing it.
Right.
Okay. That's just it. You know they are.
Right. They had a football player his name was Lamar Jackson, and they wanted it was in a CGI, and it looked like the real deal. And he's like, my whole team sucks. All my receive, like when you play pro ball and you lose the game, you're supposed to blame yourself. Well, they show him it's a mockery. It's showing him yelling at all the players on the podium, and someone says, I can't believe how good CGI has gotten, where they literally were able to CGI this thing. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I think we should look into the option that nobody has really seen Charlie, and it's going to be Charlie Kirk is going to be interesting too. When you ask people, did you actually see him get shot? They're like, well, we heard the shot, and then we saw him grabbing his neck. That's all we're going to hear. We're not going to actually get a real video of it.
they're
Actually,
not going to get no real video because that's why I said, think about all the people that must have been there.
yeah,
Think about all the smartphones. Think about it's a university. They're cameras.
yeah,
Okay. They got cameras in at university.
yeah,
Okay. So you think about all that and add that up, and when you look at what you're looking at, no. It's a psyop.
hmm
Unfortunately, we've probably got like 150 psyops running at one time.
right,
Okay. And as sad as it is, but
yeah,
what do you do? Everybody wants the money.
yeah,
Everybody's going to do what they're told to do, and I mean, what can you do?
yeah. That's true.
We're
So
in a stalemate. We can tell what we tell,
yeah.
but you're not
Here's
going to
another thing I
change
want to
it.
talk about Charlie Kirk. Now that we're on the subject, he was all of his followers and all of his male detractors, which are his enemies, they're all TFLers. Every one of them is living TFL.
They
He's
probably are.
promoting, he's giving false hope to people, like you too will find a beautiful wife like me if you just play by my rules or whatever. There's TFL is a major problem in this society.
Well, it's not just here. It's been pretty much. It's part of an agenda,
Right. So for those
transhuman
that don't
agenda,
know,
to do away with the family unit.
True Force Loneliness is not to be confused with incel. But well, what it is a man goes year after year and he can't find a woman, and that's about 50 to 70% of the men today can't find a woman.
It is okay,
Yeah.
and you're
It's
not
a
going
majority.
to.
I know for a fact it
It
is.
is.
Yeah.
It is, and the reality is, a lot of, they're going to say, well, Steve, all you got to do is have confidence.
Just walk up to every girl at the gym, and eventually one will. Yeah. How many women are you going to walk up to before they kick you out of there?
Right, you lose your description of the gym,
Yeah.
okay? Or you think you got a date, next thing you know,
Yeah.
oh, she's made accusations against you, she's this, she's that. Or she's run home and she's throwing you online and she's gaslighting you and saying you done something you never done or said
Yeah.
something you never said because ew and one fine
Ew.
day, okay? What do you do? That's where you're at when it comes to that.
People don't know how much part of the New World Order TFL is. It's population control.
It is. It's population
Yeah.
control. It's the end of the family unit, the
Yep.
end of no more mom, no more dad, no more kids. People don't stop to fucking realize that this is no accident. TFL is the name I gave to an existing problem I did not create, but that existing problem was a bigger agenda called NWO.
Right.
Okay, and people don't want to recognize that. They get mad at me when I say that, but it is the truth. Okay, all day long, it is the truth. Okay, they want the end of the family unit.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I got to give them kudos. They've done a damn good job, have they not? If I was going to give them kudos and say, compliment somebody on a job well done. Steve goes on his job, he's doing AC tech.
Yeah.
He diagnoses the problem, fixes it, customers happy, customers smiling, job well done. Well, these people, job well done. You want to talk about splitting the genders, making them fight, making people not get along, making them, oh, Steve's video from years ago. I told Steve this and I'll say it over and over. This man done a video years ago called Picky, Picky, Picky.
I need to
And to
re-release
this
that.
day, that video is so accurate, it's not even funny.
Picky, picky, picky. Yeah. That was
Yep. And I remember that really well. So I said, no, Steve had no idea back then that
I
this
did
many
that.
years
I
later,
did that when it off like real quick. I didn't even think about it, when I did that. Yeah.
I know, but you hit the
Picky, picky,
nail
picky.
on the head.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the biggest problem we have is people don't know how to get along. They're chasing materialistic stuff.
Hmm.
The social engineering's divided us to a point to where one gender has more than all the say it's over the other,
Hmm.
and they've gotten picky, 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 picky on
Hmm.
what they want. And
Right.
and even if you could get somebody that's picky, 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 in today's world, the way people treat each other, that's sort of like wanting to take a hammer and hit yourself in the head.
Right.
It's not worth it. They'll destroy your life.
Right.
People are so divided this way, but what do you do?
Not much you can do.
There isn't. And when it comes to, well, we have this flux of immigrants that's been brought over here deliberately.
Yeah, like
I
these.
did talk
Yeah.
about that.
We talked about yesterday about how they brought in when that so-called Taliban when we lost the war in Afghanistan, we brought in like 175,000 all men, all dudes,
Young military age
men
men
from
from the exact
Afghanistan, yeah.
country from 9/11.
And they want to know where are we going to get our troops from there? Those guys are combat trained.
Yeah, when they push the issue and something major happens and you're gonna find foreign troops all over your streets.
Hmm.
You're gonna wonder how they got here.
Right.
They walked
They're
right
already
across
here,
the
right?
border. They're already here.
And they speak English
So
too.
what they went in uniform and they didn't come armed, no big deal. The actors called your government will arm them, no big deal.
Yeah.
And you're gonna freaking, you think about it. Can you imagine Afghanistan young men that they're young now and they've been told about what happened on 9/11? They've been told how the U.S. went over there and done all this tragic to their people. Now they got a gun and they're marching your streets. Oh, I don't want to think of the repercussions of that. It's not going to be pretty.
No.
So, but this is where we're at.
Yeah.
People don't see it. It's sort of right in their face, but they still don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to say. I mean, I watch what's going on. I pay attention to what's going on, you know, and people didn't understand it. I told 3 people in 2020 when the so-called insurrection happened that the person that's in office right now would not only not go to jail, but they would be back in office.
And you also predicted that after you were saying that he was, even after you knew he wasn't going to win the election in 2020.
Yeah, right
Right.
after 2020 when you know, and when Biden came in, I just used it Biden. I like the last name, Biden.
Biden
Biden
was kind
got it.
of one of those, what they call an interim president. Just he was
Yeah,
able to screw things up, but not as quick. But now that Trump's back in, he's able to finish the job.
you're biding time. That's what Biden's
Right.
name, Biden
Biden,
time.
biding time with Biden.
And
Yeah.
now Trump comes back in, and first one of the things he did right off the bat, outside of executive orders, he made it very clear that he's thinking about changing the law so that he can run a third term.
Right.
He don't have to change no law to run a third term.
They'll declare war.
All you got to do is be in war during the election year, and there is no election.
Yeah. We'll be in war before then. Yeah.
Yeah. See, and my prediction would be he's the last president. He's here to bring this country down. That's what he was charged to do, and
Right.
that's exactly what he's going to do.
Right.
He's not a good guy. If he is a good guy, I watched Child's Play too, and he was a good guy, Dow. Okay, so there you go.
Right.
So if he's a good guy, that's what kind of good guy he is.
Yeah.
I'm being sarcastic, but that's the way I feel.
That's unbelievable.
And I've seen too much happen, so what do you do? I
Yeah.
would love to be able to stop what's going on, but Steve and I had that conversation too. There ain't no stop.
They're not stopping it. This is going to happen.
Yeah, there is no stopping this.
Yeah.
And even if we could, how are you going to do that?
Yeah.
How are you going to do it?
Well, we're I guess we're gonna have to wait for Jesus to come back. It's gonna be a long time.
That's it. I mean, we're not stopping what's going on. I say don't worry yourself to death. There's no point of that.
Right.
It may be scary what's coming, but you don't sit there and think about it and worry about it all day long. Go on with your life like you do every day. When crap hits the fan, crap happens. Understand that we're all going to die one day anyhow.
Right.
So what are they going to do? Kill you? I personally am ready. I don't care. My health's bad. I'm already going to be passing away. And I just don't care. You're not going to scare me with a death threat. I'll say, bring it on.
Yeah.
Because I don't care. The most you're going to do is kill me. And I'm not going to be dead anyhow, because I already know there's life after death.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't tell you what it's going to be like, but I can only tell you this. There is life after death.
Mm-hmm.
When you die out of your vessel, you will still be alive.
Yeah.
Just in a different form, a different frequency.
Yeah.
So,
That's what David Icke talked about, how the reason how they scare you is they put you in this 5 sense reality and they lock you in and say this is all there is, and you're going to you're going to be in prison, and we're going to gang rape you, and we're going to do this to you, and we're going to take you away in prison. And that they use the prison system as a fear factor.
Oh, well, they love locking people up, and fear is one of
Yeah,
the
they
main
always make
things.
these movies like shows like Law and Order where the guy says, "I went to prison and I got gang raped." They do that purposely. It's social engineering.
Well, it is. It's social engineering, plus the fact that fear is a great tool,
Yeah,
because so many people under fear
yeah,
will vote and do exactly what they want.
yeah. The fear of losing your job, the fear of no money in your bank, the fear of being socially. They always use this 5 sense reality fear.
Yes. And that's just that's where we're at.
Yeah,
They're going to use fear. So, do as you do. But my reality is this. I don't care. You're not going to scare me into shutting up. I'll shut up but I won't
Uh-huh.
shut up. If I
Right.
choose not to shut up, you ain't gonna shut me up.
Right.
Okay? It's one of them things. But hey, this has been cool. I
Yeah.
haven't done a stream with this man in a while.
What's that now?
So this has been cool. I haven't done a stream with you in a while.
Yeah, it is awesome that we've done the stream together. It's really cool. Yeah. I'm gonna
You
kind
know?
of make this short and wrap it up, but stay on here and we'll talk a few more minutes, okay?
Yep.
All right, so today is September 28th, 2025. That's kind of a preliminary video. Me and Bill will be doing more of them. I'll be adding video clips too as well in the future. But good job, and I'll be right 1 second here.